Hello, warriors. Sarah here, going to chat a little bit about raising awareness and the importance it can bring to your life as well as others. So, first off, when you're thinking about whether you want to volunteer somewhere or if you want to post on social media or talk to people, you have to figure out what's important to you. And that can be really tricky when you have a lot of things going on. So it's really important to find out where your heart is. And when you know what your heart is in, you're almost just called to do things. You feel driven and it's a sense of fulfillment when you complete it. And if you don't have that, then my bet is you're probably not fully invested into it within your heart and soul. Not that it's a bad thing, because everyone needs help and every organization out there has its um, benefits to help others, and no one is better than the other. But for one person or another, there may be a better suited opportunity. So making sure that your heart is in it because you want that compassion to come through. There's so many awesome organizations that I personally feel called to help out with, just being an immune deficient person. Obviously, I'm called with the Immune Deficiency Foundation. There's a great organization here in Minnesota that helps out kiddos that have things that they're going through, which is Hope Kids. There's other chapters too in other states. Make a Wish holds dear to my heart. I mean, really, the list could go on. There's so many with like Ehlers-Danlos and mental health, and it just, there's so many. And so it gets really hard to choose where you want to invest your time and your energy. So making sure that your heart and soul are just connected and you feel that driven power that you want to make that change, you want to make that difference. One thing that's really important, regardless of where you're choosing to put out your time, or your content or anything like that, it's really, really important that you own your stripes. We talked previously about how your stripes are your identity. You've earned them and you need to own them, because if you don't, how are you supposed to get others to get on board? How are you supposed to convince others that life can be better with your help because of your experience? So you really want to make sure that you're owning your stripes, because they make who you are, and they make you so beautiful and wonderful and amazing and just really a gift. So own your stripes because you did earn them, and not everyone gets the same experiences. And I say get as if it's a privilege, because I do believe that we are given an opportunity, whether it's through health crap that we have to muddle through, or if we're given like an actual gift, like maybe a piece of chocolate or something like that. There's rewards in both. It's just how you use it and how you channel forward. The one thing that I've definitely struggled with in the past is not to overextend yourself. Giving back is an amazing opportunity, and giving back can feel super wonderful, uplifting, releasing endorphins. It's just a really good thing. But when you overextend yourself too much, you sacrifice your well being. And that is always like the last thing that you want, because when you're trying to help others, you have to be fully able to give yourself. That took me a really long time to realize. So when I was in school to become a certified medical assistant, I was also volunteering at the hospital. I was taking care of three little ones that had health issues themselves. And there was so much going on, but yet I kept saying, okay, yeah, I can totally help with that. I can totally help with that. Fast forward a few years, I would help out with my daughter's gymnastics team. I would help out with different organizations, like I mentioned earlier. I would help out with obviously stuff around the house, obviously battling my own health stuff, plus their health stuff. And I got to the point where I was so tired all the time. And I just didn't, I felt good about helping, but I just didn't feel like I had the capacity to say no anymore. And it just made me crumble emotionally and physically. And so I really want you to learn from my experience that you have to be okay with saying no. And if you if you can't sacrifice saying no, or if you can't learn to say no, you're going to sacrifice your well-being. And that's not okay, because you are who you are and you need to give the world your gift as your best. if you can't take care of you, you can't give yourself away. So the first thing you can do is take care of you. Maybe do baby steps. Maybe it's just a conversation, or maybe you're a guest speaker at certain meetings for a different organization that you might find. You need to figure out what your capability is and make sure that you work within that. Don't overstretch yourself because it'll burn you out, and then that light, that fire, it just goes away, and burnout is a real thing. So take care of you. Make sure after you're volunteering, you give yourself some gratitude, some appreciation. Maybe do a little self-care, whether it's a little meditation or you go get a coffee or latte or tea or whatever is your thing. Maybe you go spoil yourself a little bit, but whatever you do, make sure you take care of you before and after you give of yourself to others. It's really important to make sure you're taking care of number one, and then you take care of others. So when we're volunteering or having a conversation or posting stuff on social media, there is many opportunities for teaching. I can't express enough that ignorance really is bliss. I know I talked about it last time, but I really do firmly believe that, because if someone doesn't know something, how are they supposed to understand it? So obviously their nature, what have you, is quick to judge based on things that they've heard or stereotypes that they've been exposed to or what have you. And it's really important that you use your power to debunk that. And that's a huge thing of what I'm trying to do as we go forward. We're going to be talking a little bit more about advocation for yourself and how to organize and really suit yourself to be empowered and ready to take your stripes, your special powers, and move them forward to help others. It's also really important that you learn about me and my diagnosis. And so we'll be breaking down individual diagnosis. And in there, there'll be a little bit more. So my raising awareness is a general topic. And if you have more questions, please comment below and we can connect and chat. But for now, I really want to use these teaching moments to help empower everybody. So if someone doesn't know something, you need to use that opportunity to teach it. If they give a judgment or they say, well, you don't look sick, because let's be real, that's one of the most common ones, you have the opportunity to explain to them what the difference is of an invisible illness versus something that maybe have you wheelchair bound, or maybe things are different day to day, but they don't know unless you tell them. I've done a few talks before at different plasma centers just because plasma is a huge thing in my family, for just keeping us alive. But I've said this quote to many people, whether it just be average folk or whether it be people that are higher up in different job opportunities. And I really want you to hear it. If you don't like what you see, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you see it. Let me say that again. If you don't like what you see, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you see it. I fully, fully believe that our perspectives and the way we see things can either help or hinder us. Now, I'm not saying that you can do everything by changing perspective, because you can't cure certain health issues by changing your perspective, but you can change the way that you get through them. And then when you can change the way that you see them, that it is something for you, not against you. I've heard that before by many great speakers. And I have to believe that, because I feel my health struggles are giving me the opportunity to at least help someone out there, to reach them and understand that they're not alone. And when we speak about the truth that we live daily, that helps others feel not so segregated. It makes those judgments not feel so true, and it helps debunk those stereotypes, which is a huge thing in giving us some freedom. But it can also go to the fact of you can be the change you want to see in the world. I know that's another common quote. I apologize. I don't know who says that one, but it only takes one step. So if you want people to not feel alone, you can't sit back and do nothing. You have to do something. And it literally just takes one step to help reach someone. And that's all it needs to be. Another huge thing about teaching moments are a lot of times people will use disabilities as a laughing matter or a joke. Now, I'm not talking about like stand-up comedians that have, or even like non-professional, amateur comedians, what have you. But if they have a disability and they're using their disability as their content, that's fine because they have the control of it. What I really don't want is people to think it's okay to sit and laugh about what's going on. A little backstory for me. Um, I was in a motor vehicle accident, but I was a pedestrian when I was in high school, and the stress was so severe that my body ended up having grand mal seizures, but they were non-epileptic. It was really hard, and in high school, I couldn't watch like movies very well or projectors and lights out. Every like I resembled having an epileptic seizure, but my brain activity wasn't there. Thankfully, because people that go through epilepsy have a lot to handle, and I wasn't ready at that point to handle it. Um, but a lot of kids would say, "Oh, there goes Sarah. She's dancing again." I wasn't dancing. I was having a seizure. There's also the, "Oh, she's just doing it for attention. She just wants to get out of class." Well, let me tell you, I didn't do any of that for attention, nor do anybody I've met that has any sort of illness, whether it's visible or not. We're not crying out for attention. We're crying out for people to see us equally and understand our pain. So please use this as a chance to make your pain matter. Make sure people understand that you're a human. You have an immense amount of value, and people need to see you as who you are, not what you are or what you have. So when people start to make jokes, you have to explain to them that it's not okay. And it can be really uncomfortable. And it can be really hard, scary, all those yucky feelings. But it has to be done because it's not okay to take someone's disability and laugh at them about it. Granted, I'll be honest, there's times where laughter is the only way I can get through something. So with Ehlers-Danlos, I'll easily slip a joint in my body and I'll make a joke about it because my joints literally slipped out of place. There's other times where it's like, oh, I have this going on and I'll make a joke about it. And that's fine because I'm doing it. I have the power. But that never gives anyone else the right to do that on their own. And I hope you can understand that you have the power and you have the control over your own health when it comes to how people treat you and discuss to you or discuss your issues to you. Don't ever expect or tolerate anything less than what you want. Make your boundaries clear and use those teaching moments to help them learn why it matters to you. You can be a teacher. You can light the world and just get people to realize in your circle and then grow from there that our disabilities don't define who we are. They're not going to defeat us, not if I have any say in that. And we're just as human as anybody else. We just have some other stuff that we have to deal with. So, in other words, that's our superpower because we can totally handle that plus everyday life. So, let's make sure we're using our discussions to teach people and to help them. Another thing that is really big on raising awareness is social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media at times because it can be so rude and people can be so hard on others. And I don't have any patience or tolerance for that because I just don't feel that it's necessary. And I've always been just kind of the logic of if others are hurting, they're going to hurt on you, if that makes sense. So what people project to you, that's their inner struggle. And everyone has a struggle, whether you know it or not, whether they want to admit it or not. Everyone has a struggle. And so we just have to be patient and have a little grace. But it gets really hard when people attack you personally, and that's not fair. Social media has power. There is no denying that. But let's change the power it has, and let's have it be a positive experience. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, wouldn't it be just so wonderful for you to be able to share something and others celebrate you, others triumph with you? And yeah, maybe they grieve with you through some hard times too. But we have to take what is in our hands, the cards we are dealt. We have to take that and we have to push forward and we have to let others know what we're going through so they don't feel alone. But we have to do it in a compassionate way. There are so many opportunities out there, whether it's raising awareness or whether you just feel alone and you are not sure how to wear your stripes. Find a support group, whether it's in person or online. There are so many opportunities, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, like everywhere. I'm still learning so much with social media, and it still amazes me how much is coming out there, which is awesome because we need to have more availability. It's not the traditional sit in a circle, hi, my name is so and so. There's opportunities, and the more that we use those opportunities of different support, we can help others that are just like, I don't know if this is for me. Then they don't feel so alone. And that's the biggest thing about raising awareness is you want to spread your message. You want to empower your message or empower people with your message. And you want to help others just feel a little less alone, a little less stuck. A huge thing that we need to do, whether it's mental health, physical health issues, all the same, we need to reduce the stigma. I am so sad when I hear different, oh my gosh, they are so lazy. All they do is collect a disability check or they're just mooching off the government. Okay, and rant here. Who is anybody to sit here and judge you for what you're doing? I am willing to bet that if you have some sort of a health issue that qualifies you for disability or you get some sort of government assistance, whether it's food or health insurance or anything, I'm willing to bet you're not just doing it for fun, just to see how far you can get. Trust me, those judgments are out there and it's ridiculous because 99% of the people I have met that have health issues, whether they're on disability or government assistance or not, they're not lazy. They're some of the strongest people I know. Just to sit and think about what I deal with. Think about what you deal with. Nobody else knows how to deal with that better than you. Not even your doctors. They can give you ideas, but you're the one that lives it. You're the one that has to get through it every single day. And wow, does that just show your strength. You're here fighting. You're wanting more. Share that message. People need that strength. I need that strength at times. There's many greats I look for out there on social media, and we have to find the positive ones. If someone brings you down, there's this amazing thing that we can unfollow, we can unfriend, you can do whatever you need to do instead of like back when I was growing up, you cut their face out of a picture and that's how you unfriended someone, right? And it's it's not the same anymore. It's so much easier to cut the negativity out of your life. You just have to do it. But then on the same retrospect, don't be that negative person. Yes, you can say your life is hard. That's not complaining. That's not whining. That is just speaking your truth about the hell that you live in on a day-to-day basis. Where it becomes negative is when we start to put people down, when we start to become hateful and disrespectful. That's not okay. We can't judge others based on a difference of opinion. What works for you may not work for me. I've met many people that have same issues as me, but my treatments are very different than theirs. Neither one is better than the other. You do what works for you. There's so many other stereotypes of, well, when you get stable, you're better. I'm sorry, where did that come from? Because last time I checked, just because I'm stable one day doesn't mean I'm stable the next. And when you battle multiple things, it's like a seesaw. One thing may be great one day, but the other things are crumbling. And some days you just get those magical moments where everything just seems to be in balance. And those are some of like the best days in the world for me. And I hope they are for you too. But it just makes you appreciate those other days a little bit more because it can be hard. So you use those good days to push you through, knowing that it's possible. They may be a rare gem, but they're possible. It's so sad to hear the stigmas that are out there. I have conversations with my daughters and the things that they say, and it's sad, but we have to take that sadness and we have to bring joy to it. We have to bring the light because if we don't explain it, how are they going to learn? There's certain things that if you didn't go to school or you didn't go to a certain friend group or what have you, you wouldn't have learned about certain things. You have to learn them. And in order to learn something, you have to have someone teach it. So be a teacher, online, offline, be you and share your message. Whether you're out in person or you're still online for the majority of stuff, or if that's your new norm, you go for it. But we need to start encouraging people with disabilities and without. We need to all be treated the same. So if you want to go hang out somewhere, make sure that you're inviting people with you. If you are an introvert and you just want to be alone or maybe just have a phone call, you do you. But what's really important is if you are going to go out and you want to have people with, make sure you're being inclusive, especially those that just really want to feel part of something. It's really important that they do. Their disability shouldn't disqualify them from anything. And also, when you do include plans, if you have to cancel them, it's okay. There is so many countless times where I have had to cancel plans the last minute because whether a migraine sets in or I just physically cannot get out of bed. You have to use that time to have grace with yourself. I talk a lot about having grace with others, but you really have to have grace with yourself because we're going through a lot of stuff. And it's not fair to just tell yourself, I have to get over it. I have to be strong. I call baloney on that one because you don't have to do anything except take care of you. And if that means you need a rest day and you have to cancel those plans, you do that. And those out there that don't understand that, give them that opportunity to teach again. So, my fellow warriors, with peace and love, I send you off this week. And I encourage you to start owning your stripes and just be you and let people see the real you and what you struggle with